Bonjour tout le monde. Today we are talking about les phrases hypothétiques, also sometimes called les phrases conditionnelles, or in English, si clauses, if-then clauses. And as it implies, that means certain conditions have to be met. If this thing is the case, then this other thing will happen. Si je me couchais plus tôt, je ne serais pas toujours fatiguée. If I went to bed earlier, then I wouldn't always be tired. But this implies that I don't go to bed earlier and that I am always tired. So in order for the not being tired to happen, I would have to go to bed earlier. That condition would need to be met. On recevrait de meilleures notes si on étudiait plus. We would get better grades if we studied more, which implies that we're not studying more and that we will have to study more in order for that other thing to happen. And also, just as a note, the then is often implied. It does not need to be included in the sentence in English or in French. It's sometimes just kind of assumed that it's there. So there are basically two certain sets of rules. Actually, there's more than two, but we're only going to talk about two right now. The first rule is that if your si clause has the imparfait in it, then the resulting verb will be in the conditionnel. Si j'habitais à Paris, je parlerais français tout le temps. If I lived in Paris, I would speak French all the time. But I don't live in Paris, so I probably don't speak French all the time. Mathieu jouerait au hockey s'il faisait du sport. He would play hockey if he played a sport, but he doesn't, so that doesn't happen. Si vous arriviez en retard pour la classe de français, Madame Folger serait fâchée. If you arrived late to class, Madame Folger would be angry. So it translates very similarly into English. If this happened, this other thing would happen. So that's the first rule. And the second rule is if you have si plus a present tense verb in that si clause, then the other verb will likely be either in the future or in the impératif, which, if you remember, is just a fancy grammatical way of saying a command. Si j'ai besoin d'argent, je chercherai un travail. If I need money, I will look for a job. So the condition of needing money will have to take place in order for me to look for a job. On saura toutes les réponses si on étudie pour l'interro. We will know all of the answers if we study for the quiz. So we will have to study in order to be able to know all of the answers. And here's a couple of examples with l'impératif. Allez à un match de basket si vous aimez UNC. Go to a basketball game if you like UNC. Si tu fais du ski, sois prudent. If you go skiing, be careful. So there you have examples with both the future in the resulting clause and the impératif. So that's pretty much it. You just have to memorize those two rules. Si plus imparfait means conditional in the resulting clause, or si plus présent implies future or impératif in the resulting clause. There are, like I said, there are other rules, but we are not going to talk about those this semester. So here are your sample questions. So the first thing you need to do is identify the verb that's given. So in number one, it would be identifying this verb right here. And then you apply one of those rules to figure out which comes here. And it doesn't matter if that si clause is at the beginning of your sentence like number two, or if it comes towards the end of your sentence like number one, the rule still applies. Si plus imparfait means conditional. Si plus présent means future or impératif. So which order those come in doesn't matter. What matters is what is coming right after that si. So try these 5 examples in your notes, and we will go over the answers tomorrow. Bonne journée.